Hello and welcome to Tea with Fee live at 5, and it's Friday again. And as you can see, it's not warm. I've got me 25 million layers on. Winter is coming. So I just thought I would quickly check in today and say hello and let you know what's been happening at Make It So. So I'm going to quickly go through the week, if I can remember everybody, and let you know what's been going on, tell you what I've been up to, and then what's happening next week. So that is my plan. So it's Friday, so there was no Tea with Fee last Friday. But I did upload all the previous few weeks because I hadn't done that yet. So I'm aiming to have this one done as soon after I've finished it as I've done it. That makes no sense whatsoever, but you know what I mean. So anyway, so first sewing lesson was on Monday. So I'm helping Sheila. She started the Sew Like a Pro program, and she was making some cushions, and now that she wanted to make as Christmas gifts. And now that they're done, we are going back to basics and we are starting from the beginning of the Sew Like a Pro program. So for anybody that is interested in what is involved in that, then we make, I don't have half the things here, but basically what we make is a book bag, which is just literally a bag big enough to put a plastic folder in. I don't have a plastic folder either. So it's going to be all about the props, and I don't have any props. Hi, Julie. The reversible bag is the second thing that we make on the Sew Like a Pro program. I'll tell you what else we're making. You might have heard this before, Julie, but you know, just go make a cup of tea. We also make the needle book in Sew Like a Pro. So this is project number 3. Then we make, which I can't show you, a pin cushion. Hang on, we might be able to show you. Wait a minute. We make a scrap bag with some binding, which for most people, the sewing machine foot also can fit in that. So it's kind of like a double kill two birds with one stone thing. And then if I move this, let's see, hang on. Oh, you still there? Hang on. Then there's that's the pin cushion that goes with this. And then what happened, this is quite old now, so I don't have it anymore, but there's a fabric strap that goes through here and through here, and then it's meant to wrap around the sewing machine, but it's made to measure and it doesn't fit the new sewing machine, which is why I don't have it anymore. So that is project number 4/5. Then we make a sewing machine cover, reversible sewing machine cover, which starts you dealing with wadding, more binding, and you can actually make it into a bag if you don't want to make a sewing machine cover. So we just flip it upside down and we put handles on it. So that's number 6. Then we make a drawstring bag, which is following on nicely from the sewing machine cover. So you're still, it's the same construction method. You've still got wadding and binding, but you're then dealing with layer on layer plus a drawstring and lining. So that's number 7. Then we've got the table runner. Now the table runner is a free pattern. It's not my pattern. It's a free pattern off the internet, which I don't think is available anymore. I think the link has gone. So luckily I have a paper copy of it because it's quite a favourite. And it looks really, really nice. I won't go and get it because it's not handy, but I will put some pictures up and just refresh everybody with what is involved. Then we make, blimey, I am useless today. I've not got that with me either. Then we make like a little pencil case or like makeup bag. And then we finish off with dun, 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 the graduation bag. So anyway, the point of all that was Sheila has started her journey to the graduation bag. So that's been fun to get started with Sheila. Then we have, that was Monday. Tuesday was Christine. normally on a Tuesday I have Christine, Kaz and Laura, but it was just Christine on her own on Tuesday, and she has started making, hang on, so this is not what she's making, but this is kind of like an example. She's making a rug, and the rug is made in a similar method to these coasters. So she bought a jelly roll. If you don't know what a jelly roll is, I do have one of those, she says. She doesn't. Hang on. Aha, she does. So this is a jelly roll. And they are normally 2.5 inches wide strips, and you get 40 strips, okay? So she is using one of these to make a rug. And basically what you do is you sew all your strips together to make one continuous length. You then get wadding, which you can buy ready cut to this size. So somebody's on the ball there. You've got wadding cut to size, and then you fold it in like binding and then sew it down so that the wadding's all hidden inside. And then you then start to wind it like this and zigzag it in a circle or an oval shape and make it into a rug. So she is making one of those, and she got her jelly roll from the Knit and Stitch show in London last week or the week before. So that is very exciting. So yes, she was working on that, and these are the little triangles, because when you join your strips together, you join them at 90-degree angles like this, and then cut diagonally or sew them diagonally so that they go straight like that, but the join is kind of evenly distributed, so it means you don't get bulky bits. So hi Lane. So yeah, so she was making them, and these are the little triangles that are left. I'm just not sure if they're big enough to use them for anything. So I said I would hold on to them for a little bit and see if I could come up with anything I could do with them. So watch this space. So yeah, that was Tuesday. Wednesday was Joyce's turn. We're working on this really nice quilt. I'll get some pictures if I remember next time. And we'll do a little progress report on that. That's coming along very nicely. It's a gift for somebody, so I'm not going to tell you who it's for in case for some reason they happen to be watching. And then on Thursday, we had Alwyn and Nikki on Thursday morning. Alwyn is making a bag out of Stuart Hillard's book of Bags, I think it's called. Nikki can correct me, and Alwyn can correct me because they both have this book. So I think it's called the Book of Bags. So she's making a bag to keep her knitting / crochet supplies in, which is similar in style to this, to give you an idea of what it was going to look like. And it's got a drawstring top on it and little kind of pockets to put your needles and stuff in. So she's working on that. And Nikki is doing some Christmas presents for people. I won't tell you what they are, but she was on fire on Thursday. And because she had missed a couple of lessons, she was back again today. But I will come back to that Friday after I finish Thursday. Crafternoon tea on Thursday afternoon. Yeah, crafternoon tea on Thursday afternoon involved some pinning of my dress. However, I'm trying, so for those of you who have been following, I kind of dip in and out of dressmaking. Dressmaking is definitely not where my skills lie, and my teaching skills definitely don't lie there, because I much prefer and have much more confidence dealing with bags and like householdy things, not so much about tailoring things to fit other people or for yourself. So that is definitely not where my teaching journey is heading, as far as I am aware, but who knows. Anyway, so I have made a few things over the years for myself. Interestingly enough, I keep making dresses. Now, I'm not being funny, but I do not very often wear dresses. I actually have a skirt on today, but that is like very rare. And I've got leggings underneath it. So the dresses that I tend to make are like kind of like tea dresses or that kind of thing. So I'm not quite sure why I've got into that. But anyway, so this is another one. So this dress has been on the mannequin for quite some time now because I needed help with the adjustments. And this is what puts me off making them, especially in cotton, because there's no give. So if you're doing something which is like a jumper, you know, like out of like sweatshirt material, there's a lot more room for like, not error, but ease would probably be a better word. So there's more room for allowances can be made more. Whereas with this type of dress, it kind of needs to fit properly or it's not going to look right. So that's why I've not done it for a while. And it is very difficult to try and fit something to yourself, especially when you're wearing it. You kind of need somebody else to help you who knows what they're doing. Enter Hazel. Thank you, Hazel. If you're watching this, thank you. So Hazel spent some time with me on Thursday, pinning it to where it needed pinned. And it's a really interesting exercise and one that I would encourage you to do if you fancy getting involved in making your own clothes. So there are so many different, what's the word I'm looking for? There's so many different things that can get done to a pattern to make it fit you properly that you probably don't even know that you need to do until you actually start getting involved in dressmaking and get a little bit more knowledge on the subject. So for example, I made a dress. I don't have the pattern handy. I am rubbish today. So I made this dress. It's like a denim dress. And if you've been following along, you'll maybe remember it from Sew and Bee a couple of years ago when I tried to do the Sew and Bee challenges under exam conditions. Well, that didn't last long because this dress was a 4-hour challenge and it took me about 9 hours. But basically, it's a button-up shirt dress. And I really liked it. And it was, I would say, without blowing my own trumpet, it was pretty well made, pretty well sewn. What I didn't realise was, and I put it down to the time restraints and the exam conditions of the challenge that I had set myself was I didn't actually like measure myself properly. I just went with, on the back of the pattern it says if your waist is this and your bust is this and your hips are this, then these are the sizes. So that was fine. Didn't think to consider measuring anywhere else because they're not in the actual pattern as guidelines. However, what I have since discovered is my shoulders are actually broader than the dressmaking pattern size that I am everywhere else. So within wearing this dress for a couple of occasions, if I go like this, and I have obviously gone like this because why would you not? Because you've got to be able to move around when you're wearing something. But what's happened is here it's all pulled, the fabric's all pulled, and you can see that it's actually frayed. So that is really not ideal. Now, it's okay, it is still wearable because being the cold person that I am, it's very unlikely that I would wear it without a cardigan of some description over the top. So that's fine, I can get away with it. But that's not the point. The point is I want it to be, if I make another one, I want it to be wearable with, and I have the option to not wear a cardigan over the top of it. So this is why this one has become more of a challenge. Because it's the same pattern. I've gone for a different, you get, on this particular pattern, there was 4 different versions. So it's the same top half, near enough, but this one's got a different skirt on it, but the skirt bit wasn't the issue. The issue was the top, I had to go like 3 or 4 sizes bigger on the top, but the bottom is like a much smaller size. So now I have to figure out how to get from the big size on the top to the waist size at the bottom and like round the boobs and everything. So that's partly why it's been on the mannequin for quite some time. So anyway, we are making progress. So it's all been pinned, it's on the mannequin, and my commitment to myself, and I'm putting it out there because there's people watching, I am not going to start it this until I have finished the project for the advent calendar, and I have a commission to do for some memory cushions. So those two things need to happen first, and then this will be picked up. The aim is I can start it a week tomorrow. So I have got 7 days to get those two other things done, and then I can happily start working on this. And then, not that I'm overly excited about this at all, I'm trying to keep the lid on it. I'm actually got a whole weekend of sewing all to myself next weekend. So this is what I aim to be doing. If I can get that finished next weekend, I'll do a little happy dance and I'll show you. And then I'm going to move on to the trench coat next. And if this works out really well, I've got this really nice Christmas fabric that I've had for several years now. I think I'm going to make one in Christmas fabric as well for Christmas Day to go with my nice red trench coat, because, well, you've got to have goals, haven't you? But I've also got, I don't know whether you remember this, the slippy fabric from Doom. So this was meant to be the same style of dress as the one that's on the mannequin. Now, this will not be a finished dress, and I will tell you why. Because going back to my previous point and saying that dress number 1 was too tight across the shoulders, well, this one was cut out very quickly after I had done dress number 1 and didn't realise there was an issue with the shoulders. So this one has been cut out on the smaller size, so, and it's a lot thinner fabric, so I already know if I was to finish it, I'd wear it once and these bits would come away, and I don't have any more fabric, and I really don't want to cut any more fabric because the fabric's horrible to work with. So I think rather than waste the whole thing, I'm just going to use the skirt bit and make it into a skirt. So not that that's going to happen this weekend, and it's definitely not this season because it's like really thin, so it's definitely going to be a spring summer. Maybe make it sleeveless, but I don't know, it's a bit too thin, I think. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's just see how we get on with the other 5 million projects that are on the go. And I haven't even started the cross stitch yet either. So that's a whole separate non-dressmaking project, but I've got a cross stitch that I'm about to start. And again, that's on the must finish these other things first before I start that list. So I'm going to be a busy bee this week. Going back to the advent calendar, and did I even get as far as Friday? Didn't even get as far as Thursday. So a proper tangent today, people. I'll come back to the advent calendar. Right, so that was Thursday afternoon, Crafternoon tea. Thursday evening, Wendy was here, and she is making some Memory Bear accessories. And as a part of that process, we were embroidering on my machine something to put on each of these Memory Bears. Well, what a palaver. It's a fairly new machine. The embroidery unit I've not used that much, although the software that I use is the same software as the old machine. So I had typed it all up on the new software, put it on the new machine, and then couldn't understand why it was going to take 109 minutes to basically sew 7 words. And I thought, that just no way that can be right. So to the point where I ended up on the phone to Sean, who sold me the machine, and we were on FaceTime together trying to work out why this wasn't working. Eventually, when I got off the phone, I said, look, it's just going to have to take 109 minutes. Eventually, when I got off the phone, started the sewing process, I realised that the speed slider was at the actual lowest point. So when I slid it up to, so instead of being, it was actually on like snail, tortoise, like speed. When I slid it up to the hare speed, it went down to like 25 minutes. So it was fine and we got it finished while she was still here. And you know, you just think, why did I not think to look at the speed thing? Anyway, so that was last night. So yeah, lesson learned, check how fast it is before you start sewing it. So that did make me chuckle. And then today has been absolutely miserable. We literally, what a great day to spend at sewing. Honestly, it did not stop raining for the full 2 hours that everybody was here this morning. It chucked it down the whole time. So we had 4 this morning. So Nikki continued with her gifts that she was making. So she got to do 2 days in a row at the shed. So I think that she's trying to work out how to fit that into her schedule, because it's so much fun, especially in the winter. Do you know what I mean? It's a reason to get yourself out of bed and be somewhere, and have fun whilst you're doing it, and then sets you up for the rest of the day, and you leave in a really positive mood and like all sort of fired up. Well, so I'm told. Anyway, so we had Nikki, and then we also had Vicky and Portia, who are both making these at different stages in the process, but they are really coming on fabulously with those. They are looking brilliant. And then we had Christine, who's working on some bags, and I have the pattern somewhere, but not handy. Surprise, surprise. But I have just spotted, going back to the beginning of this conversation, 2 seconds. This is the table runner. And it's so clever. You're not going to be able to see it, but can you see the design on it? So you've got like this center square that's like opposite, it's like a checkerboard, and then you've got this opposite checkerboard going on here, and then you've got these like fill squares. And in her pattern, this free pattern, this outside border is the same as this lighter color. I just decided, because I really like the fabrics, I wanted to do it a different color, and I have a bit of a matchy thing that I've got going on. So yeah, anyway, so that's the table runner. Anyway, back to today. So Friday, Christine's on these bags. So then, and that was it. So that is sewing over. Tomorrow, I have actually got a Saturday with no sewing, like work sewing on the agenda. Crafternoon tea's not on tomorrow. Social Saturday's not on tomorrow. So it's like, ooh, Saturday to myself. What am I going to do? Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to finish the advent calendar and or do these memory cushions. It could be both. We'll see how productive I am tomorrow. But on the subject of the advent calendar, I just want to put it out there that I am literally doing limited edition. Okay, I'm doing a certain number, and once I've sold them, that is it. I'm not going to do any more, and I'll tell you why. So, where I normally get my fabric from, so you know I do like my Lewis and Irene stuff, right? Which is this. But the Lewis and Irene stuff I can only buy per bolt, which is 10 meters of fabric, and that is a lot of fabric, especially when I'm only doing like 10 boxes. So that is not going to work. It doesn't make sense to do it that way, because I end up with all this fabric left and nothing to do with it. Right, so the other company that I use, were selling by the meter, so that was perfect, and they've stopped selling by the meter, literally in the last couple of weeks. So if I had been more on the ball, I could have got myself in a position where I'd already bought the stuff and it wouldn't be an issue. But now I need to buy everything by 10 meter bolts. Well, I don't want to give you in your advent calendar fabric. Well, I do want to give you fabric in the advent calendar, but I don't want to just give you one fabric because it's the only way to make it affordable. I want to be able to give you like 10 fabrics, but to do that, then I would need to sell probably 200 advent calendars, and maybe next year, but I'm not sure that's going to happen this year. So therefore, I have had to make the decision to just go, when they're done, they're done. So I am aiming for 12 advent calendars this year, and I currently have sold 8. So there's only space for 4. So if you were thinking about getting one, then you need to let me know soon, because I have only got space left for 4 people. So if you think it might be a nice thing for you or a gift for somebody else, then let me know ASAP. But anyway, so that is what I am going to hopefully be doing over the weekend, is getting that finished. Now, if you've not seen previous videos about it, it's basically going to be something to open every day, including the 25th of December. Each item you can just add to your stash and just use whenever you want. or on Christmas Day, there will be a pattern which involves all the things that you've got up to that day that you will use to make the pattern. What is not clear at this point is there might be little road signs along the way. So when you open something in the advent calendar at certain points in the journey, there could be the option to do some of the prep, because I appreciate, much as we might like the idea, it is very, very unlikely that any of us will be doing any sewing on Christmas Day. So I do appreciate that. However, you might want to escape to your sewing space just to escape the madness of Christmas build-up. So if that's the case, this might be an opportunity to do that, because I might give you some little snippets of, right, with the first to the fifth items that you've opened, you can now go and do this with them. So I haven't quite decided if that's going to work, because that involves me trying to figure out how to split the video into those sections, but also make it work as a full video. So who knows? So I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but there is a possibility that it will. And then the other thing that I'm going to try and do, watch this space, but you know, you've got to start somewhere, is, you know, like when you scan a QR code and it takes you somewhere. Well, I'm going to try and figure out how to do that, because I thought that would be quite good for the videos. So you could just scan the QR code and then it takes you to, this is how you make whatever it is that we're going to make. So that could be a possibility as well. So if you don't know how to do that already, make sure that your phone is set up for scanning QR codes if you're thinking of getting an advent calendar. There will be a way around it if you can't, but who knows? So watch this space. But anyway, that is what's happened this week. Next week, sewing is on as normal at the usual times. So we have a Tuesday night, 4 till 6, well, tea time. Tuesday, 4 till 6. Thursday, 10 till 12, and then 7 till 9. And then Friday, 9:30 till 12:30. I'm also thinking about starting a new session, possibly after Christmas, on either a Tuesday morning or a Wednesday morning. So if that's something that you're interested in, then get in touch with me and I will get your name down on the list, and you can let me know which of those two dates you would prefer. So that is the schedule for next week. There will be Crafternoon tea on Thursday afternoon, and there will also be Crafternoon tea on Saturday morning. So we've got a nice week next week of double Crafternoon. And hopefully I will get lots of productivity done, and I'll get all my sewing people doing lots next week. And some of the interesting phrases that came up this week in sewing lessons, in particular today, we had "that'll do, pig." They were kind of like phrases from films, but to do with what was happening sewing wise. Yeah, "that'll do, pig." And what was the other one? Can't remember, but that was quite funny. There was another one, if I remember what it is, I'll put it in the comments, because it was like, just like perfect timing the way that they came out. But anyway, right, so I have waffled on enough. I apologise that my props were rubbish. If you have got this far on replay, I really appreciate you watching this far. And if you watched it live, I also really appreciate that you watched it live as well. And James is waving at me. Come and say hi. I think James is going to come and say hi. You're going to come and say hi?
How many have you got online?
There's 3.
Do you think Fiona should let me go to the pub for a pint before dinner? Thumbs up for a yes.
Why?
Metal Detecting Steve, just give me a shout. See if I want to go for a pint.
Oh.
Thumbs up for a pint.
Oh, see, nobody said anything, so I just think no. It's not been approved.
I'll bring chocolate back.
Julie's on the phone. Say hi. Julie's watching. Say hi to Julie. It was Julie that accosted you in Kirby Garden Centre.
Yes.
No, Eden Park.
I hope you had fun.
Julie. Just the one. Just one, Julie. You're a bad influence.
I'll bring chocolate back.
Right. Okay, so we're not having dinner immediately then.
I'll be an hour max.
Okay, right. Okay. He's gone. Totally threw me completely there. Do you know, talk about live TV. Right, and on that note, I am going to go. So, thanks for your input there. And James's little cameo appearance. Right, and I will speak to you all. I'll see you during the week, and or I'll see you next week on Tea with Fee. Thank you for watching. Bye.